This is an airstrike on a funeral in Yemen's capital, Sana'a. It was one of the single most deadly strikes by the Saudi Arabian-led coalition that's been bombing Yemen since 2015. At least 132 civilians were killed. Strikes like these are common in Yemen. Thousands of Yemeni civilians have been killed by them, and some involve the use of weapons provided by the United States and the United Kingdom. This airstrike is just one of many against targets ranging from wedding processions to busy marketplaces. These attacks have been investigated by Bellingcat for this report using open source material. In each case, the strikes are killing civilians, not just military targets, like Saudi Arabia and its coalition claim. We'll show you how we know. Yemen has been devastated by a civil war that intensified in 2015 and is still ongoing. There are two main sides: the Iranian-backed Houthi rebels, who control the nation's capital, and the internationally recognized government of Yemeni President Mansour Hadi. Since the conflict started, it has become one of the worst humanitarian catastrophes in the world. One big factor is Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia leads a coalition of mostly Arab states trying to dislodge the Houthis from power. They've been trying since 2015, using ground forces, airstrikes, and a crippling blockade. So far, there's been limited success.
This war has killed thousands of civilians so far and driven millions from their homes.
Saudi Arabia has the backing of powerful allies like the US, which provides weapons and logistical support for the airstrikes. Many of those strikes have hit civilians, not Houthi military targets. Here's one such example: a March 2016 strike on the Al-Khamis market in northwestern Yemen. This is what the market looked like a couple weeks before the strike. The blue-roofed structures are likely temporary structures set up as part of the market. The two airstrikes hit here, just west of these temporary buildings, at a busy roadside section of the market. Bellingcat was able to figure this out using a couple methods. First, a graphic video from the media center of Ansar Allah, a Houthi-run outlet. In it, we can make out three buildings that can be geolocated on Google Earth satellite imagery. Human Rights Watch also visited the site of the airstrike later that month. Two of the same buildings can be geolocated, as well as a large crater from the airstrike. A second strike was reported near the first, though there's no open source evidence showing a second crater. In all, 107 civilians were reportedly killed in the strikes. 25 of those were children. The United Nations investigation said 10 of the bodies were burned beyond recognition. Based off the Human Rights Watch video and a report from British news station ITV, we can also link US-made munitions to the bombing. The ITV crew came across the remnants of a Pavoy laser guidance kit, while Human Rights Watch reportedly found evidence of a JDAM. Both are US-manufactured weapons. The Saudi-led coalition has denied any civilians were killed in the attack. Instead, the coalition's Joint Incidents Assessment Team, or GIAT, claims the strikes targeted a large gathering of Houthi armed militia, a legitimate military target. The problem is there's no evidence to support the GIAT's claim. Between the open-source visual evidence and the on-the-ground investigations from Human Rights Watch and the United Nations, there's not much that shows any sort of military presence. There are other instances where the GIAT's conclusions don't match up with the open-source material, including strikes against a wedding and another marketplace in 2015. Some of the more egregious strikes have caught the eyes of international media, human rights watchdogs, and US lawmakers.
One of the strong things that we can do is not only stop military sales, not only put sanctions on Saudi Arabia, but most importantly, get out of this terrible, terrible war in Yemen led by the Saudis.
Based on evidence analyzed for this report, airstrikes on civilian targets in Yemen have become a consistent reality for those on the ground, and the Saudi coalition is the source of those strikes.